Hey bourbon fans, I'm Tim the Suburban Dad, here to help dads find great bourbon. And one of the questions I get the most or see posted the most online is, what bourbon should I bring to this event? Give to this person? Well, I'm going to break down bourbons for 5 different occasions to help answer that question, so that way you're not hunting around trying to figure out what bottle do I need to bring. Let's get to it. There are 3 characteristics for bottles that I think are relevant in this discussion. The 3 P's: proof, price, and procurability. In other words, I just want another P word. In other words, how available is the bottle? That's what I'm trying to say. Depending on the event, you might spend a little bit more. You might have lower proof, you might have higher proof. You might be willing to hunt a little bit more. So I take those 3 things into account with all these recommendations. First up, we got a casual backyard barbecue, cookout, whatever you want to call it. Now think about it, you're going to be with a bunch of people. Maybe some of those people are going to appreciate whiskey more than others. You're going to have food, usually rich, heavy food, real big flavors in that setting. So you want something that's going to stand out above all that a little bit, without going too crazy, because you don't want to get sloshed at an event like that. I got 3 recommendations for this one. Knob Creek 9-year, it's 100 proof, lots of flavor. Very Old Barton, 100 proof. Hear me out. This one's a bottom shelfer, I know, but it's got really good flavors, kind of peppery, more savory bourbon, so it goes well with cookout type food. And Balcones True Blue 100 proof. That one's actually a corn whiskey, but it is, again, lots of flavor, and it'll help balance the meat and the heavy foods nicely. Next, we got a semi-formal dinner party. So this one's going to be a little bit more sophisticated than, say, a cookout, right? The food is not necessarily going to be as heavy. Maybe you might have some steak, but maybe it's something lighter. So for this one, it's going to be a little bit more refined. I'm looking at $30+ bottles here. I'm looking at Russell's Reserve 10-year, easily found, $35. Eagle Rare, again, depends on the type of party you're going to, the type of dinner, whether you know the host is interested in bourbon and all that. So Eagle Rare is going to be pricier, it's going to be harder to get. The proof, though, is really good. It's going to go well with most foods. Old Forester 1910, now a little bit pricier here, over $50, but it's only proofed in the 90s, 93 maybe. The flavor on that one is more oaky, more basic bourbon, so it's not going to overwhelm the foods that you're eating. And last one is Baker's 107. This one, it's higher proof, but it's actually pretty tame when you're drinking it. So it's not gonna, again, it's not gonna overwhelm the meal that you're drinking. Plus that one's a little fancier looking, and it is gonna be a little bit more impressive to bring to the table. And it's just a really great bourbon all the way around. Next category is gifts. Now, I'm probably going to do a separate video all about gifts because there's so many different categories that you can go with here. But in particular, we're going to carry on with the trend of going to some event or dinner or party. So a gift for that host, not meant to be opened during the event, but just as a, hey, thanks for having us over. So the one I just talked about at dinner, that's to be shared. This one is to be given as a gift. For this one, I'm looking at bottles anywhere from $25 to about $55. On the low end, David Nicholson 1843. It's 100 proof, about $23-25. Really great flavor for such a cheap bottle. Or Woodford Reserve, about $35, 90 proof. Great middle of the road bourbon, so safe bet if you're not sure how into whiskey somebody is. Or if you know they are into whiskey a little bit more, maybe Woodford Double Oaked. Or a Knob Creek store pick. Those are both about $55. Those are going to ramp up the flavor. The Knob Creek is going to be higher proof at 120. Another category that I see a lot for gifts is a boss or a good friend, somebody that you're willing to spend a little bit more money on. Maybe you want to impress them a little bit more. The friend, maybe you like them a little bit more than a lot of people. The boss, maybe you're, again, trying to put on a good show or, be a good employee. This one we're going to spend a little bit more on, right? So we're looking at about $55 to $105 on this one. First on the list, Old Forester 1920. Again, about that $55 range, 115 proof. Such great rich flavor. It's a great pour. It's not super hard to find, so that's nice for gift getting, but it is a little bit pricier. You could do a Maker's Mark 46 cask strength or a special release like the wood finishing series. Both of those are around $65. Those are such great bottles of bourbon. Again, they're still under $100, but they look cool with the red wax and they're just very tasty to drink. So great gift options there. Both of those though are a little bit harder to get. So don't think you could just walk into any store and, I'll just grab them Maker's Cask Strength, 46 Cask Strength or Special Release, because there's a good chance it might not be just sitting on the shelf. You're gonna have to hunt a little bit more for it. Same with the next one, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Again, you could do an annual release version or a store pick version if they've got one. Both are gonna be tasty, 60 plus bucks on those. Store picks are gonna be a little bit more, of course. The last one is the priciest, right about 100 plus. That is the Blackened Wes Henderson edition. This one is 116 plus proof. Really, really rich but gentle flavors. I wouldn't quite go as, it's somewhat smooth. Okay guys, those of you who want a smooth bourbon, it's high proof but it's easy to drink and it's got a very complex, rich flavor profile to it. It's a rather impressive looking bottle, and for the price tag, that's going to be one to impress whoever you're giving it to. Next one is poker night or guys night, whatever type of activity you're doing for guys night. Now in this scenario, you might have some guys there that are going to appreciate whiskey more, but it's guys night, so things are bound to get at least a little bit rowdy, okay? You might want something that's a little bit more sophisticated, appreciable, but not spending top dollar either, because let's be honest, if it's not a dedicated bourbon night, you're probably not going to be sitting there just appreciating each and every pour, right? This category I'm looking at 25 to 65 bucks. On the low end, Old Forester Signature 100 proof, about 25 bucks, great bottle. Around that $32 mark is Huling Station by Old Dominick, 100 proof there. Very, very rich, great bourbon, wonderful flavors. Really impressive for the price, so if you want to get more bang for your buck, that's the way to go. Right about the $45, $50 mark is Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Again, this one's going to pack more of a punch at 116 plus proof, but again, you're not breaking the bank. It's an easy to drink bourbon as far as high proof ones go. Very rich, basic flavors, caramel, butterscotch, vanilla, that kind of stuff. On the top end, about that 65 mark, would be a Maker's Mark store pick. These come in a variety of flavors and profiles, so you can pick one that matches best with the occasion. Now the last category that I came up with, golfing. I am not a golfer, despite immense pressure from my brothers-in-law and my network of friends, but I just don't have any interest so far. That's a different discussion. For golfing, you're going to be outside, right? Most likely it's going to be sunny. It might still be warm and sometimes hot this time of year. You're going to be moving around. Not only you're swinging the golf clubs, but you're going to be walking a bit. Even if you're using a golf cart, you're still having to move around more, okay? Just keeping all that in mind. I'm going for something a little bit on the lighter side in terms of proof. You don't want to be throwing off your game by drinking a ton of high proof whiskey. Or maybe you do, maybe it would help your game. In this category, I'm looking to spend 28 to 50 bucks here. So on the lower end, we've got good old Buffalo Trace. It's just standard, easy to drink bottle. These days, it might be a little harder to find around you, but it's a good one for the golf course, I would imagine. Another one is High West's Double Rye. So this one, again, lighter, with still a decent amount of flavor, but it's not gonna knock you over with the proof. Only 92 proof. That one's in the low 30s in terms of price. Another low proofer in that price range, low 30s, is Old Dominic's Straight Tennessee Whiskey. It's only 85 proof, but man, you are not losing any flavor at that level. A lot of times bourbons or whiskeys that low proof get to be pretty watery. Not this one. You will not be disappointed. And the last one in this category is Michter's US 1 Bourbon. Again, 90-ish proof. Now this one's a little pricier, 45 to 50 bucks, somewhere in there. But again, very easy to drink, not super powerful, but just nice to enjoy outside. The last category, bonus one for you, is what bourbon to bring to a 7-year-old birthday party. Just kidding. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out this video here for the full story. No, I do not bring bourbon to 7-year-old birthday parties, unless requested by the hosting dad, maybe. That's it for today though, folks. Those are my bourbons and whiskeys for 5 different categories. Let me know what you think. Tell me what your favorite gifts have been, or what your favorite experience has been at different events when whiskey is involved. And until next time.